Greetings, I'm Mark with Unlimited Story, unlimited-story.com, a channel dedicated to writing, world building, marketing, and most importantly, getting things done. If you want to support this channel and the things that I do, be a jolly old Saint Nick and just click on stuff in the description below. It would help me out. You know, I write things and so on and so forth. Anyway, in this video, I am going to be reviewing Final Curtain, a Hollywood Newshawk serial complete by Roger Alford. And here's the description. Hollywood, 1948. When an old man is found in his home after being dead for over a week, it looks like an obvious suicide to the cops and everyone else. But when hard-boiled reporter Tom Miller starts digging deeper, he finds there are a lot bigger questions than just who and why. Delve into this 12-episode mystery today. Hashtag complete. What tags we got here? Hard-boiled. Who did it? Who done it? Pulp Fiction, Hollywood, complete murder mystery, detective. And our graphic here, it looks like, I don't know, like I want to say a Charlie Chaplin, but, you know, with a more robust mustache and wilder hair. Pretty sure that's how people dressed back in 1948, as if I was there. But whatever the case, let's get started. I have just finished reading Final Curtain, a Hollywood Newshawk serial complete, which I should probably just refer to as Final Curtain, but whatever the case, I just finished reading the first 3 of it, and here's what you can expect. It's a murder mystery. Like, I'm sure you've already figured that out, but I figure I'd just let you all know that. Okay, so what happens here? This isn't really character driven. I'll start off by saying that. Like, the main character, you really don't know who he is. I mean, I'm told in the description, I'm assuming that it's Tom Miller, but you don't really ever talk about Tom Miller. You know nothing about him except that he exists and that he's talking to people. So, what happens? You open up with the dead dude. No surprise. Actually, that is kind of expected in this situation. So, starts out with dead dude. You get a whole bunch of description. I specifically like the one how he's having a losing battle with his like receding hairline and it's dyed and, you know, in a bad attempt to, I don't know, retain his youth. Okay, so you start out with a description of dead dude. You also get a description of the location. So you pretty much know what's going on, which is a good idea. And then we just start going as they try to figure things out. So something's not sitting right in this detective's gut. And so he goes out and starts talking to people. What I will say that I've probably enjoyed the most, and a lot of the meat and potatoes of the story revolve around the dialogue and what's going on inside the main character's head. And I have, like I said, very, very enjoyable. Okay. First off, they use a lot of the common terms that would be said back in the 1948 specifically. Again, not that I've been there, so I have to assume, but they say things like, hey, this dame, this floozy, you know, they didn't say go to the clink, but, you know, go to a crate or something like that, or jalopy, just things like that, where I keep getting myself reminded, like, oh yeah, this is the time frame we're talking about. They talk about vaudeville, and they talk about just things that are relevant at that time. So, and that makes an appearance in the dialogue as well. So, he's having some communication with not witnesses, but neighbors that were near the person who was killed, and it goes off real smooth. It's real nice, and I will say I also thoroughly enjoyed the parts where he was talking to Mrs. Larch, I want to say, Larch, something like that, and the whole time you kind of hear what's going on in the back of his mind. He's like, oh yeah, I don't see the guy. He's either too scared to make an appearance, or, you know, he's dead too. Like, just interesting things, like what is going through this character's mind. I mean, so there's what he says, like directly to the other characters, and there's what's going through his mind, which typically aren't the same, because what he says in his mind is not nearly as nice as what he says out of his mouth. So he talks to her. Very interesting conversation. She finds out that there are 3 suspects. A fat man, I don't know, or I don't remember, and some rando girl who might be a floozy, as they like to say, back in the 1948s. So he goes around, so he talks to the old lady who, you know, this lady apparently is just watching the door and is doing nothing else but, I'm assuming, knitting, because she doesn't have a cell phone or anything. So he gets all his information from her, and then he goes around and talks to other people to basically confirm the information, which I'm really happy about, because if he just seriously talked to her and was like, well, this is all my information, I would have felt like that was a pretty lazy thing to do. And then he ends up going to talk to these 3 kids that are just hanging out, and they give him a little bit more information. In fact, the kids are probably the most useful characters thus far throughout the story. And more or less, that is it. So basically, you're off and running. And unlike other stories, I will say, this doesn't have like an amazing hook, but I think one of the things that really gets this story going is that, hey, it's done. You know, you can read, you're 12, and you're set in stone. And I really like that. You know, like, not every one of these serials has to be this super long 100-episode, multiple season. Like, having some variety on Kindle Vella is great. Like, just being able to sit down, you know, one day and be able to knock out, 12 episodes, I think is great. And I think there should be a lot of variety, because here's the thing, not everyone's got a lot of time, and not everyone wants to read a lot of episodes. So if you want a shorter-esque thriller slash, well, maybe it's not a thriller, but a murder mystery, why not check this one out? It takes place in 1948, and the dead dude, he's pretty stanky, is what I'm going to say. They put a lot of description into how nasty this poor guy smelled after a week. And that is a wrap for Final Curtain, a Hollywood Newshawk serial complete. If you like this kind of stuff, consider subscribing, or at least checking out another one of my videos that YouTube recommends. If you would like to have your story reviewed, just hit me up on ye olde Discord. Information is in the description below. It's on my website. You just do some clicking, and boom, next thing you know, you're on Discord, and you're ready to roll. And thanks. Peace.